Hi guys, Dave at HumbleTrekker channel. How you doing today? Reviewing a classy budget knife from SanRenMu, the S625. Let's cut in some close-ups and go through the specifications. It is 8CR14 MOV stainless steel blade, G10 handle. The blade hardness is 58 to 59 on the Rockwell scale. A 7.6 centimetre blade, which is one whisker under 3 inches. Big positive with this knife was the extremely sharp cutting edge. It came from the factory, and I just touched up the strop when I first got it just to bring it up a tad more, and during the time I've been testing it and using it, I've maintained the edge just with a strop. I guess you would describe the blade grind as a modified sabre grind. It's actually swells out from so the narrowest point, or it is narrower here at the spine than it is here, where you see where the primary grind starts. So it swells out and then it comes down to the cutting bevel, the secondary bevel here, which is very even and, as said, very sharp. Sharpening bevel there. So I guess you'd say this was a top swedge up here, but not a point swedge. And there you see the jimping there. Very impressive factory finish on the blade. Test cutting on an old denim shirt. Totally shredded. I was just getting hung up there when I was pulling it back to the sharpening choil there. If you're wondering why it stops now and again, beautifully sharp edge from the factory. I call it a Kydex-ish sheath. I'm not sure if it's genuine Kydex, but it's from that family. And like the knife itself, they've put some thought into the actual sheath design. First of all, very important, I think the most important design feature is removal of the knife. It's a very tough, very firmly held in place. No chance of this coming out. But then when you do want to retrieve your knife, they've ridged this portion of the sheath here, so you can push up on it with your thumb and it'll click out, and then pushing it back in, you get a very satisfactory click to know you've locked it in place. And if you look at before you get to the click, so you've got about 7 or 8 millimeters of blade still showing. So then after the click, you've got 7, 8 or 8 millimeters of locking of the steel in the Kydex. Very little rattle, probably much better than expected for the price of this knife, the quality of the sheath. On the back, it's got this type of belt loop, so you can slip it over your belt. You can rotate the position of the sheath. You push down on this. This is actually a steel tab. Nice to see this is steel here. This tab which unlocks the belt loop, so you can rotate it. So you can put it in. You can have it upside down, vertical, fully vertical, horizontal in either direction, or even diagonally. There's a number of locking points basically around the 360 circle, so you can put it at a number of different angles from vertical to horizontal, and 2 or 3 places in between. If you want to have as a neck knife, you can remove this back bracket with the belt loop by unscrewing the hex bolts here and here, and then you'll just have the very thin Kydex-ish sheath left, and there's a couple of holes there that you could have as a neck knife, or once you'd remove these hex bolts, there would also be through bolts here, holes here, so you could lash it to anything as the heart desires. With the rotating bracket, you can have it set pretty much as desired. It smoothly rotates around, but then once it's in the desired position, it's firmly in place. It's a full tang knife, And it's actually, for a kind of small knife, smallish knife, it's actually got a very thick stock on the full tang handle. I'll put on the screen the millimetre width of the actual stock in the handle when I go home and measure it. It just struck me that the stock is very thick. It's a very strong knife, but still very light, because they've got this lightning hole here. I don't know if there's further lightning holes inside it. There's a hole there, and they've taken weight off the blade with the swedge. So despite the fact it's a full tang knife with a quite substantial stock, it really keeps the weight down. So if you're using it as a neck knife or as a supplementary knife, backup knife, where you don't want to be carrying a lot of extra weight because you've already got a main knife, for example, really nice design thoughts have gone into this from SanRenMu. They've not just flung together this knife. It's comfortable. They've thought about the comfort of the handle, even though it's small. Nice design, comfortable thumb rest there if you like the thumb rest, or even if you like to hold it with a 4-finger grip, the hammer grip, it's going to be comfortable enough. The sharpening choil, good to see they've included that. Nice fine point, nevertheless pretty strong. It's never going to be a master wood carver, this type of knife, but it's got an adequate, usable working edge. Clearly a small knife, but they've managed to design a very comfortable functional handle. If you want to stab with it, it's got the blade stopping your forefinger, riding up on the blade, with actually quite a large measure of safety margin there underneath your forefinger. If you do want to carve with it, obviously it's not designed as a hard carving knife, it will be comfortable for a fairly long time doing carving tasks with it. If you want to do fine tasks, stuff like this, splitting twine, or working your way through some sinews on meat, or gutting a fish, you're going to be able to do it very nicely. If you want to put it in the back, stabbing hammer grip like that, again, that's going to give you a nice comfortable grip with very good purchase and safety, peace of mind that you're not going to ride up on the blade. Let's get down to the rating and slating, where I go through all the positives and all the negatives on the review item. So for the SanRenMu S625, how do I rate it or slate it? Extremely highly. Trying to find a negative about this, and I really couldn't find one. I thought maybe I would say a negative would be that the sheath stands out a little bit too much on the belt clip, but then that's actually could be a positive in some cases when you want to get quick access to it. You don't want it very close to your body. So a semi-negative there, but actually is also a positive. The rest of the knife, the rest of the sheath, I've just got to give it 10 out of 10 in every aspect, if you take it for what it is. It's not a woodworking tool, a knife carving machine. It is a tactical belt knife, neck knife, backup knife, which has got so many well thought out design features, so many functional elements that really work for it. There's nothing on it that I would say that's just has no real purpose. They've made it lightweight with the use of the lightning holes, but still extremely tough, thick stock. The handles are small, and you think, oh, it might be a little bit delicate to handle. But once you get it in your hand, it's got all the perfect beveling, the perfect shape, the perfect form to fit the hand. Just top notch, top drawer knife. I like the stone washed finish, but not too stone washed. Extremely sharp from the factory, an extremely easy knife to maintain yourself once you've got it yourself. It's got the sharpening choil, it's got jimping or a gripping ramp here, but not too aggressive, it's rounded off. Nice sharp point, but still strong point. It looks good, the sheath's good, and price point between $20 and $25 for all of this quality. I'm blown away. I love it. I think you know that by now. If you want to purchase this knife, there's a link to it in the description box below. Thanks for watching. If you're a subscriber, don't forget, you're the guys that keep the channel going. If you have enjoyed this video and you're not yet a subscriber, please consider hitting that subscriber button, because I come out with regular gear reviews just like this. If you want to leave a comment, I enjoy reading all of them. Get down below, type out whatever you want to tell me. Hit the like button if you've enjoyed it, share it if you've enjoyed it, and until next time, take it easy.